Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks for tuning into our coffee chat this morning. Having some internet connection issues at this house. I've always had that. I don't know what my desktop does not like to connect to the internet here, so I have to use my phone. My work computer connects just fine, has no issues, but this morning when I was trying to connect with Virginia, um, and I could see her on. It wouldn't let me even connect to the internet on the computer. I could not get on no matter what. So, and I realize I'm wearing one of these this funny shirt that I was wearing, and I'll have to explain that one in a second because it's a joke. But it may offend somebody. I'm sorry.
Don't we do a good job at doing that? We do offend.
Well, I bought this in front of an ex, and it says the hexes are for my exes, and the look on their face was like, "That's not funny," and I'm like, "It's a joke. Calm down." And then it really upset a former roommate who you know.
Mm,
So
hmm
um, they thought that it was just awful. And so, anyways, I have a twisted sense of humor. Anyways, what? Good morning, Ricky. How's everything going?
Hey,
Um, well, so there's been a lot happening. I mean,
yes,
there's just
there is.
the eclipse this happened this last week. We survived the apocalypse, so I guess that is a good thing. And I've decided that I'm going to make a card that said how many apocalypses have you survived, and you get a punch for everyone you've survived. So,
Well, then I'll win. I'll win.
so yours is on near death experiences.
Yeah. Oh my God. But you know what I'm seeing, and I think you and I have discussed this. A lot of people, after they've seen that, and they know the fear and love. There's a lot of people trying to get in for private sessions with us, and I don't
Yes.
think people realize that they can. We want to just say about our membership. There is such a travel. It's a treasure in that there in that
Yeah.
website, and they're not utilizing. They're all there. Anybody that's in that membership, they can go to anything on that website and they can pull it. They can record it, and it's being recorded anyway. It's being sent to them most of the time. They need to utilize that. That's what we want them to do. Is because
Yeah.
there's so much more, but they're doing private sessions, and they're not getting the same benefit for the money.
Yeah. People
Money,
come in and they're like, I want a
welcome.
private. So it costs. I'm going to raise my price too. It's going to cost $200 an hour for each one of us on the to just have a private session. But we're charging $111 a month, and right now we have about 4 to 5 small groups a month, and then we have a webinar, and then we have a like just a hangout where for like an hour where we hang out and just talk. So and then they get all the recordings for everything they've ever done since like September, and where that's interesting is so they want this private session, and they got it stuck in their brain that they have to have the private session and spend more money instead of just getting the access to all the stuff and then having access to both of us all this time. And the people that have been coming, they've really been seeing a lot of shifting.
Yes.
And so it's just one of those things where, I mean, people that were beginners in a lot of this stuff are really just after even just as short of as a month,
Mhm.
seeing like, whoa, and seeing and changing the world. And then our members, they come to our meetings, and I don't know, I don't know what to do, but I've sent out these things. Here's how you member access our membership area, and of course we all have busy lives and stuff like that, but um, you get every time you're with just a couple people and building energy, that helps you shift your consciousness and raise your frequency. And almost all of the 7,000, well, I don't even know how many now,
It's about
email.
9,000. We've got about
Okay,
9,000
okay.
emails.
Okay, so out of about 9,000 emails we've gotten since September, um, everybody's asked us, how do I raise my frequency? Well, we're trying to tell you, hang out with a group of people, like-minded people, and we guide and facilitate it and help you, and we help you learn how to discern and that kind of stuff. And we've done some
Process.
healing work.
Yeah, how to
Yeah,
process what you're feeling. They talk to us personally right there for 2 hours. I mean, there
right.
might be 5 or 6. And I mean, we have profound experiences in there. And that's what I'm saying is we're trying to help them to do it, but not have to spend a lot of money doing it. We're not trying to do that. I mean, that's what we both agreed on that, Jeremy.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I'm sorry but that's how it works. I mean, I was telling that to one of my members yesterday that I talked to on the phone, and I'll call them. You call them. We talk to them personally.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
we're being really, but when they do that, I mean, I don't mind them doing private sessions, but the sad thing is an hour versus being in the monthly in there, there's so much more volume in there, so much more things that are going on.
yeah.
An hour,
So
how was the
yeah,
solar for you all? Oh, Ghost Rider.
for me, Ghost Rider, I was actually on a meeting during the solar eclipse.
I felt every bit of it. 4 5.
I mean, yeah. As far as the energy, I felt an angst for probably 3 or 4 days. But it's been I like that kind of stuff, and people are gonna think I'm weird because I literally been if I feel it kind of get overwhelming, I'll go and lay into bed. I work at home, so I'll go lay in bed and I'll just sit there and breathe
Yeah.
and
I was
work my way
dizzy.
through it.
I was dizzy a couple of days after that. A lot of people were dizzy because I was getting a lot of comments about it. So I was kind of dizzy. I was out of balance a little bit. So I had to get back into balance,
Well,
grounded.
yeah, and what was great for me is that I mean I felt this at some level, but that whole river of gold or that liquefying inside and stuff like that, I felt that. And the
Yeah.
interesting for a couple weeks too, I've been feeling really down when I'm dropping down in my meditation in my body. I'm feeling this. How do I say it? Every thought, every emotion, everything you've ever experienced inside. So it's like, but it's like a static, and it just kind of like feels. I guess the best way to put it is when you used to go at midnight when TV would shut off
Mm.
and you'd see that like little, white and black dots all over the screen. And imagine just sitting in the middle of that staticky energy, and
White.
that's what trauma feels like
Yeah.
inside energetically. And so, but that's every time somebody rejected me. That's every time I felt less than myself. That's every single time that somebody could just said something they didn't even mean to be bad, and I took it that way because of my own experience of the past and my own perception of myself. So you stuff that energy down into the body, and then you have to face that. And so what I was doing is that I would just breathe, and what I would do is calm that energy. It's like and I'd sit there and talk and start talking to it. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of success, and you just start parenting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
Well, I had this book that showed up, The Healing Intelligence by Harry Edwards. And we're going to put this on the website. But I bought this book. This was done in 1965. And they're talking exactly the intelligence of your own self to be the healer. And I mean, since I've had all these skin things, I mean, that came out, this book literally talked to me. And that's what it's done. But I haven't used this book for almost 26 years. And all of a sudden it just started, and it's been on my bookshelf, and it just started speaking to me. And it took me right to where it is. We have healing abilities, an intelligence that can heal us. That's our higher self. So we've got to
yeah,
start learning how to use it. It says how your healing powers work and how they can be awakened right there. In 1965, they're showing you.
yeah.
And people
Um,
need felt like an ancient energy to me. Who is that?
that's Sylviane.
Oh, is
She's commenting on the group, so it's hard. It
okay.
doesn't pop up with their name, but yeah, and yeah. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, Sylviane. Because it would bring up ancient things and reactions inside of us or triggers inside of us because we're ancient beings. I mean, that's
Mhm.
um, I don't think that's what people don't even realize. It's like how old of a soul you actually are,
And
and
that means also when people tell us that, oh, you're an old soul, I don't think that's a compliment. I'm sorry. I get upset about that because I thought, well, I should have been out of here a long time ago then.
or maybe we're just hanging out here having fun.
Yeah. Well, I think I've been having more fun in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I will be going to Indianapolis next weekend. I'll be on a podcast there for 3 days. So yeah, but I'm having fun. I came back into that feeling of joy again. It was coming in. I thought, this is what I do for a living, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do this and to work with people all over the world like we have. I mean, we have worked with people all over the world. It's amazing.
I'm assuming that Sylvian says, I don't, I guess I did. She said, been there, done that, and I must have missed what we were saying, but she said, been there, done that. I'm assuming she's saying, been there, done that because of our ancient, or of our old souls. But,
Probably.
so, um, but anyways, yeah, there's, one of the things I could say to everybody is just breathe. I mean, we all got things going, oh yeah, old soul. So, um, yeah, just breathe. And Michelle Morgan Flower says, good morning.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Michelle. Thank you for the morning prayers, Michelle.
Yes.
And so breathe. And the prayer is one of the most powerful things you can do. I mean, it's just, I don't think people realize how strong it is. It's, I've seen when the worst of worst, one of the things I was presenting in a church service last week is I said, being humbled is not necessarily a bad thing. And I said, when you're brought down to your knees, guess what you have to do? You have to look up.
That's it.
And so, a lot of times when you're going through a new up leveling in your life, you will be brought down to your knees because then you're starting to look up and see where you're supposed to go. And so, where we get really confused and think, oh, what's happening? Well, the old's being taken away from you. It's in the, like in the tarot, the tower card, everything starts crumbling, falling down, and then there's the death of that cycle, and then you go into being the journeyman again, or the
Hmm.
fool, so to speak, in the major arcana. So, um, but yeah, lots of things
A
to
lot of
talk about.
speaking, a lot of, I have done a lot of deep releases myself. And then finding out, I got my diagnosis about severe eczema. I thought it was psoriasis, but it's not. And so I've had to go in as soon as I got, now this is true. As soon as I got this book, and that book told me, and it was talking about skin problems and all of that, but it was all in the mind. I'm telling you, it's all in the mind. And the doctors and everybody don't work on that because we have a powerful mind, but we've been so programmed to see it this way, never to expand it, to see the truth in it. So the more people start getting into their mindset, their body changes, it shifts.
Yep.
That's what, but it's not the kind of mind that they think. If they've got the mind of the world of man, they're going to be always in programming to do it this way. This is I mean, I had a great session yesterday with a woman that just, it blew me away because I would had her in less than 5 minutes, and she was sitting there and she was talking about, I can see angels. Well, what she was seeing is the light coming through in her dimensions of her mindset. And I told her, I said, that's not angels. I said, that's angles. And I was showing her how to use the angles to bring in all the right light coming in to change things in her mindset. And she said, I've never even heard of that. And I said, yeah, but it's been going on for a long time. They just
Yeah.
we never associated the mind and the body and the soul, that kind of connection. So
Thank
yeah,
you, Bill Donahue.
huh?
Thank you, Bill Donahue.
Yeah, that's it. Thank Bill Donahue. And I felt that this time. I felt the true charisma coming up through my spine, my spine. I have never felt that. I am now going into a liquefied golden liquid. That's what it feels like. It's golden liquid. And I was in a deep, and I thought, wow, I'm really, and my body was shifting like water. That's what
Yeah.
you melt. I
Well,
gave
I
it.
want to I
Oh,
want everybody to understand too. That's in the thoughts, in the mind, and the body, and then the spirit. So it's like, I mean, my body is not actually liquefying. I mean, it's, I mean, maybe at some level it is, but it's just like there's just this feeling where all those thoughts, that chaotic energy, that staticky energy, it starts to go into a flow, so to speak, as opposed to being chaotic. And so then it starts to liquefy, and it goes at peace. And so that's what she's talking about. And so it's like, although I do believe And I don't have any doubt on that. There is some level where we could actually, why I can't think of shapeshift. I do believe we're capable of doing that. Maybe we're not there yet, but it's the thoughts that block that. Now, people would say scientifically
Not
that's
possible.
that's impossible, but
Yeah.
that's because your mind is in there, and that this happens um, in the feelings, so to speak. So, I mean, there's just a lot of that's
Well,
just
I
something
can
where you get in that so deep in there.
I've seen you
I could
shape
feel it.
shift. I've
Huh?
seen you shape shift. I've seen myself shape shift. People
Yeah,
shift. So I know they
the
do.
essence of who we are,
Yeah.
and when we project out that energy, yes, of
Yeah.
course. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but this time I was so deep that I mean, because I've been working on my liver and some organs, and I felt it shift over, and I felt it come straight up through my spine, and it would,
yeah,
and I thought, wow, and I
well,
had never done that before. But
and
that's shifting.
you have to do things like I have this plantar fasciitis in the body, and I've made it, down the feet, and I've made it so much better by literally, you have to pretend, guys. I mean, like I'll literally sit there and pretend like I'm projecting my intention down to the bottoms of my feet, and I'll
Hmm.
sit there and breathe, and then I'll talk to it. I said, "What's going on?"
Hmm.
And and so we've been taught that that's like ridiculous, and you know what? Sometimes the ridiculous is exactly what works.
Well, and also we've already experienced it. Once you've experienced it, and when somebody starts trying to tell you, you know that they have never had the experience. So how can they even relate to what you're saying? I mean, I've been doing this for 26 years. Most people don't relate to me anyway because they've never had the experience.
Yeah, that's called a golden sap. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sylvia, and it does. What's really kind of cool about that, Sylvia, is that liquid. There was a Newsweek article in the '90s, um, and they actually proved that the pineal gland releases uh, melatonin,
Yeah.
and that actually does make us even look younger and produces. And it's not the melatonin you buy in Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
It's literally exactly what you're talking about, Sylvia, and the Egyptians called it sap, and so or the Christians would call it Christos, and so
Mhm. It's
I
real. It is
what
real.
it is very real. Yeah.
And it is the part of that's part of the process. Yes. But I mean, I can feel that. I've been feeling that for a long, long time. But it just, the more you go deeper in, and a lot of these people that we are talking about, 9,000 emails, they want to go out. I said, no, go in because you create the outside yourself. And they still want to go out. And really bothers me is people want to not be here. I just want to leave here. Well, what are they going to do? They don't have the body anymore. They don't have the opportunities to really learn. I mean, people want out because they're fed up with a lot of this that's going on. We got to stop being fed up and let's get real with ourselves right now. And
Well, it's like that image I showed a while ago, and it's about the electromagnetic field. And when you're in fear, the electromagnetic field draws into your body. But when
mhm,
you're in that love state, meaning that in
expand.
flow state, it expands and it emanates at a frequency of 5,000 more times. I have to pull it up, but it basically is what they're saying is that when you're in that love state, science has proven the energy is stronger,
Right.
and you're empowered in that state. So you're literally when you're and so all this world is geared towards getting you afraid.
Mhm,
And
absolutely.
so but
Yes.
when my friend RJ Spina can literally cure himself, and he was supposed to be not walking, um and they said he would never walk, and he'd be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And guess what? He's walking, and without any assistance. So
Hmm.
it's very possible to heal ourselves. Now, is it hard work?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's I'm going to pull this up. Is Share this on the screen.
Well, because people also they didn't know that there was a human aura, and I've been sending that out because you do. I mean, I have my cup. There it is, the quantum DNA. There it is. That's exactly what it is. And
Yeah.
then that's how it goes up and it comes back down. And then you cause this to come out. I mean, it's squares, circles, it's all of that.
Yeah.
Did you see what I sent you the other day?
I
So
haven't had a chance to. You sent it to me yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to
well,
it. So
when you see it, I sent it to several people because I wanted them to see this is really the truth. What we're talking about is the truth. It's not, it's scientifically effective. It's, I mean, well, this cup right here, every time I go and get a cup of coffee or I'm this lights up because this is my residual from my own aura. So I would even said, and I've said this before, I said, whoever gets this cup will have my residual on it. That's what
mhm.
people don't understand. Antique people will call me sometimes because there's things in the, furniture or the clocks, and I'll have to go and clean them out because it's residuals of
Well,
people.
yeah, it's like every time somebody goes by the ruins at Chichen Itza and that or Tulum, the thousands of years, people energy has been there, and it imprints on that
Yeah,
those
it
ruins.
makes
Or
a
you have a
whole
book. You
space.
know, Lewis Gates gets he buys books that are 100 years old, 200 years old, because he knows that everybody's energy that's ever touched that book is on it.
And
So
that's exactly the truth. That's how I was trained. Never buy a new book. Buy the ones that have been used, and you will, because I've got that book. Even though that was a brand new book that you sent, told me to get, I felt that book. It
oh
came. I
yeah, because
felt the energy.
Yvette Yvette did a ton of work on those books, and
Uh-huh.
it's very obvious that the level of research and work she put into that is very you know
It
a
was
lot.
good work.
So that energy is in there. So yeah.
It was in there
Well,
because I felt it.
so the eclipse for me was more about opening opening energy up and stepping into a new way of thinking, and that's where I think I'm going is stepping into a new way of thinking for myself.
Mm.
And I had an experience last Sunday when I was speaking at the church at Casadega where my soul was literally standing up in my body and started. I could literally feel it taking over my arms and everything else, and started talking for me. And
Mhm.
I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool."
And that
And
is
I
you.
had and I had notes, and I had notes. I wrote out just little bullet point notes that I was going to follow, and it didn't even follow any of that.
Yeah.
So,
I
um,
haven't followed any notes. I mean, I have like bullet thoughts and stuff like that, but I've never had to use them. You and I
yeah,
both never do scripts. We never
yeah,
write a script or anything. It just comes out.
yeah. Ricky knows. He's been in my training classes and at work, and a lot of times the lesson plan I go off script.
Well, I have ideas that come up, and then the next thing I know, it's not the same. I mean, it just starts taking over. And it's not because we're channeling, that is really us. That is our higher consciousness working on that. I'm having an aura right now. I mean, there's an aura. And when we say aura, it looks like you what they would call a migraine. That's what I see like that. But it's a shift in your mind and you can see it. I can see it outside of my eyes and I can feel that moving. So we've hit something again because when I got on here, I don't know if it's a computer that activates it or whatever, or the energy of us coming together, but I'm having one. And it's not it doesn't hurt. You just become aware of it. And then I watch it as it's outside of me because I can see it inside too. So there's a lot of things that's going to start happening to a lot of people as they gather. Like when we all get into a small, and we have a small group coming on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, at 11:30 a.m.
And
Yeah,
if you want to, these are very powerful small groups. I'm telling you, these people are really on top of it. And we discuss very deep about what's really going on and how we've had to deal with it, helping them understand it so they can explain it. If you don't get into those small groups, you're missing it. You really
well,
are.
the great part about small groups is that so I'll give you an example. Like we got to give so people always ask us, well, when is it the right time to do something? And I'm like, well, that we ask them to tell us what's going on so we can help them process through it. And so they get the opportunity to do that with us because it's hard. Like one of our webinars, we had 126 people in it, and that's impossible. We can only do like one, and the one people are just rapid fire asking questions. Do we really go out of body? And I was like, I was like, were you guys really asking questions like that? I mean, like, come on now. And so, um, but it's hard. Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate that. So,
Well,
um,
and also, don't you remember the first big webinar? And I mean, they were firing faster. We couldn't even process the questions.
and we could feel the energy is so intense, and we had some backlash from that one because people were upset. They were like, I thought you were going to be able to teach us how to go within and stuff like that. It was almost impossible. 2 hours of I finally had to really just
Stop them.
calm everybody down and stop and get everybody so we could get some level of organization. And it was really, they were just desperate to be able to ask Virginia questions. And I'm like, okay, like, come on now. It's, um, it was, but it's calmed down since then, and it's been great
Oh my
because we've been
God.
able to kind of, so,
Well, like I
but,
just said, can you imagine? It's been 7 months from the Jeff Marr video. 7 months.
thanks,
What we've done in 7 months.
thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, because it was amazing, and but that's why I had severe eczema. That's a
Yeah.
mental thing, and I mean, I went and started doing the research and everything again because I knew it was either one or the psoriasis or that. And if you remember, I couldn't even say psoriasis.
Well,
It wouldn't come through.
and I was eczema that I kept on pulling up in in that metaphysical anatomy and telling you about it. I remember it because I was like, you said psoriasis, and I would go to eczema. So that was kind of
Well, and
funny.
I was doing both sides because but the things I did, I felt, but I knew that there was something about my mind and about what I was experiencing. So now
Yeah,
I'm working on it and it's getting better. But I have to do this stuff to be able to learn to help somebody else. So I
yeah,
usually, that's why I've had heart attacks and I've had strokes so I could learn. And now people
right,
said, that's the crazy thing. I said, no, I still look back that I went through my strokes without ever going to a hospital or anything and rewired it myself.
yeah.
That's amazing. And that's
That
why
is
I know
amazing.
how to do it. So yeah.
Yeah, don't do that, guys. Like, unless
No,
you're,
no, don't do what I do. Don't.
call 911 if you're
Yeah.
having a stroke. And so it's like one of those things where, and then even the doctors and nurses when she tells them that
It freaks them out.
their
Uh,
hair stands up, and I think their lab coats like go like this, and they're like,
But then they
so
can't say anything because they see me at this age and I'm very alert and I told them, I said, this is the way it works for me. And they just go, oh God. So yeah.
all right, everybody. So it's been a great Friday morning. Hope everybody has an amazing weekend, and just be still. Enjoy your life, but take some time for yourself. Go into nature. I love going to parks, and just breathe. I mean, just breathe, and you should have a good week, and
Or go on the
process.
small groups with us tomorrow. Go look up what we're going to be and join us. We would love to
Yeah,
see everyone.
yeah, absolutely. All right, much love, everybody, and we will chat with you next week. Bye bye.
Yes. Have a great weekend. Bye.